Oh shit. It's the beer video. And you are not seeing things. I am back this week. Oh, and so is Helen. Helen, you're back. Thank fuck
Hey.
you're back. You've been missing for some time. We sent you out on assignment, and then you were just missing, and now you're back.
Yep.
Tell everybody about your adventure.
Oh, so my husband and I went to ROADBURN in Tilburg, the Netherlands. And that was a fucking blast. I loved it so much and did not want to leave the Netherlands. It's a wonderful country. Everything is inexpensive and there's bike lanes everywhere. And
Biplane?
yeah,
I fucking
which
love biplanes. I'm not joking. I used to have biplane toys when I was a kid.
am I garbling myself? Bike lanes, like lanes
Oh, I
for
thought
bike.
you said biplanes. I was so fucking excited.
I'm sure those exist somewhere. Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just imagining all these biplanes flying all over the Netherlands. I'm like, this
Totally
fucking country sounds incredible.
better.
Sorry, bike lanes.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah.
it's not so good.
Which was like I think those are really great infrastructure. But also because we don't have anything like that in the States, most places I kept having to like kind of pull Matt out of them
Oh shit.
before like turned into marinara sauce by like some bike commuter who was running late.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um Yeah, Roadburn's really good. I like that like their whole thing is like metal, but also like the non-metal stuff that people that listen to metal like.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like metal bands, but then it's like, oh, here's a rapper, here's a folk singer, here's like a punk band.
I was very jealous about I saw the backwash video you posted and I was very jealous.
Yes, she actually did two sets. One we were way in the back for. It was like the end of the day, so like we that was I think the last thing we saw before we went to bed. But yeah, that was when Kate from Pupil Slicer guested, and that was amazing. And then I managed to bullshit my way to like close to the front row for her second set, which is also amazing. Had like a bunch of old horror movies playing in the background. Um, and she actually said for the program like, yeah, my first set is inspired by the movie Begotten. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
I've never seen it. No, I know of it, never saw it.
Yeah, I think it's free to watch on YouTube and it's pretty short.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it in like the past 20 years, but it's like permanently seared in my brain because it's so weird. It basically starts with God killing himself with a chainsaw and then just kind of like goes from there. But I got the chance to
What's it
talk
called again?
Begotten.
Okay, go ahead. You keep talking. I'm gonna look this up. Oh,
Okay.
there it is.
Yeah, yeah, it's very black and white. Don't go in there expecting anything like, like much of a linear plot. It's just kind of vibes. I mean, it's not like complete nonsense, but like, yeah, it's definitely vibes. But it's really good. If you like just, a totally unhinged brain just kind of like spilling its content onto film. I think those are my favorite kind of movies, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I nerd out with her a little bit. Like, I love Begotten. That movie's nuts. And yeah, yeah. And she said her second set was inspired by Suspiria, which I also love. So that was cool. Matt's favorite set was Brutus, and they were amazing.
God, I love that band.
Yeah,
Fucking
super.
love them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chat Pile was the standout just because like I'm kind of a sucker for Arby's jokes.
Yeah.
A lot of
I love
that.
Chet Pile too. Yeah. Fucking great band. So
Yeah.
bizarre, but just awesome. Yeah. Anybody
Yeah.
that can do a 9 minute song about Grimace on drugs is good in my book.
To be fair, it's not just about Grimace
I
smoking
know.
weed.
I know.
Uh but yeah, kind of hard to think of highlights just because like I don't think I saw a set that I thought was boring or bad.
Yeah.
Um yeah, what was the last thing we saw? I think that was Afsky, who
Oh shit. Yeah.
yeah, they were White Ward's last minute replacement, and like it's a bummer White Ward couldn't be there for like pretty obvious war-related reasons.
Yeah.
But Apsky was really good, kind of a nice note to close it out on. And I think you probably saw the pictures I posted of the angry geese fire.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Geeks, they're assholes.
yeah. Though we figured out that the two most aggressive geese were being like so confrontational with us because they're right nearby. And once we figured that out, we were just like, oh well, you got all your baby geese you have to protect. So like
Yeah.
I can't really be mad at you. I am
Yeah.
still gonna kind of shove you with the deck brush if you come too close. But
It's fair. It's nature.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I understand the other thing that's exciting about your trip is that you delved back into the beer world and that you're gonna have a beer for us tonight.
Yeah. So it was a kind of an experiment to be like, oh, can I be on vacation and not drink like a 20-year-old? I can. And fun. Beer in the Netherlands is not very expensive, so I saved a lot of money. I was then able to waste on band merch and junk food.
Nice.
So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I sent you pictures of a few of the nicer beers I had. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of has like you can get like crap beer there if you want,
Yeah.
but also have like um fancy beers for sale. I think the one I had to celebrate like the last night we were there, I had like a white jasmine, like jasmine scented Belgian ale. That was really
Oh,
good.
fuck. Yeah. That's an experience.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think like well, I had that and a massive joint at the same time. Legal there, don't yell at me. Uh, and uh, I remember just talking with my friend about the Village People movie, You Can't Stop the Music, which I can't say I recommend exactly, but if you ever want a viewing experience that just makes you feel like you're on drugs a little bit, I guess that's a good one to go for.
Yeah. Fair enough. Especially if you're on drugs, which I'm
Yeah,
not, unfortunately.
of
Well,
course
Helen,
not.
why don't you rip out your beer? Because this is exciting. And plus, you haven't been on the last 2 weeks because, well, you just explained why. You know?
Yeah. So I am drinking a imperial stout from East Lake Craft Brewery, and it's called okay, I had to look this up. Sathagua, and it is spelled like this.
Oh, oh, I like that can.
Yeah, so Sathagua is a creature or a god, demigod thing from the Cthulhu mythos. Though he wasn't invented by Lovecraft, he was invented by one of Lovecraft's friends, Clark Ashton Smith. Um, and Smith and Lovecraft both mention him in stories, like not at length, I think, at any point, but like their descriptions are kind of different.
Yeah,
You know, Clark Ashton Smith says he looks more like a big sloth or like a toad thing. Um, Lovecraft says he looks like a big Italian guy that walked by him once and said, "Hey, I'm walking here." No, I'm kidding.
we've both
Um,
done a bad Italian accent on this video. It's fine. We're banned in Italy now. But go ahead.
yeah, and it's low hanging fruit to make fun of how Lovecraft is afraid of Italians, but whatever. I
And
think
anybody that's not white.
yeah, I you get the old school racism with Lovecraft, like
You really do.
all the regular ones you get, like he's talking about how scared he is of Irish people.
Yeah,
It's something. Um,
it's racism classic.
anyway, I'm lying. Lovecraft describes him as like toad-like but amorphous, like he can turn into a giant centipede or something. Anyway, so the main theme is he's a big guy. He's a
Yeah,
beefy boy, stout lad. And this label kind of has to go in its own direction. He looks kind of like a spooky, like evil Totoro here, with
yeah,
like little blob minions. I'm into it. They've done like different artist versions of the guy over the years. This is a stout they release like I think yearly. and they do it like a little different every time. So I technically have had this one before, but
but not this year's.
so I
Yeah.
think it's like a little different. So this is
Yeah.
matured on Spanish brandy and oak casks.
Ooh.
Mm? They're advertising here unexpected notes of pineapple, orange marmalade, and coconut. I guess they're not really unexpected if you're telling me about them. Come on.
That's a good
And
point. Yeah, it's not. They're now expected.
yes. Okay, well let's pour it. I've got this oversized ball jar because apparently I'm a 20-year-old who lives in a punk house.
Oh, that's all
And
right.
I don't feel like washing any real glassware.
Yeah.
I can
You said
pour.
this was East Lake Brewery.
Yeah, I think I featured them before. They actually did like one of the THC drinks that
Okay, okay. I'm thinking of a different brewery than East Lake Craft Brewery. Okay.
yeah, they also do a lot of sours, I think, like with various fruits. And
Yeah.
I think why their fruit flavored THC stuff is so good because like actual fruit flavor. It's nice. So there's not much of a head on this one, as you can
Yeah,
see.
a little bit, a little bit.
It's very thick. Mm, it smells good. Smells like a stout aged on wood of some sort.
You always know the glass is good when you have to use two hands to drink from it.
I also have very
You drink it
little,
from a lamp.
like tiny little monkey paws, so
Yeah,
you have to keep that in mind.
fair enough.
It's good. It's a real okay. I think I've featured it on a beer video before, but you know how I have that black velvet robe?
Yeah.
Okay, so if that clothing item of mine was a beer, it would be this stout. It is you know, I like that it's not like it's barely sweet at all. I think a lot of imperial stouts like I've had a lot of pastry stouts that go like really overboard with like the
Oh yeah.
sweets,
Me too. Yeah.
but this it's a very subtle sweetness. It's nice. A lot of kind of a lot of bitterness, which I like. It's like a dark chocolate bitterness.
Nice.
Yeah, this is like a, like a super dark chocolate bar.
What's the
Um,
ABV on it? I don't know. Maybe you said, and I didn't hear it.
it's a big boy. It's 10 point. So
Oh,
this this is why I saved this one for the beer video because I was like, this is not one I can have and expect to do shit after.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like just sit down and take a nap or something after that.
honestly, pretty much the only reason I'm wearing like makeup and decent clothes right now is because like Jaden looks so wonderful in their future. I got like shamed into it. Like, oh man,
They've gotten more comments on the lighting in their apartment than anything. So we're all striving to be
I showed a
better at
little
lighting.
ad. He's like, you got to get your gamer light set up, lady. We
Yeah.
do have a table with nicer lighting, but it's covered in Matt's magic cards. And like, I didn't want to be pouring like beer over like
Yeah,
50 cards and
you
sweating
might get
bullets.
upset about that. Yeah, that wouldn't be a great idea.
Probably not. Oh God, I feel like I've rambled on for a
No,
while.
you've been here in a while, and we needed an update, and you've provided that, and you told us about your beer, and now we're out of time. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But here's what here's what's funny is for everybody to know. Helen and I never discuss what beers we're drinking before we do the beer video. Whenever you reveal your beer, I have no idea what it is until you do it, and same with me. And so it's hilarious that we have beers that are very similar, at least from a monster standpoint.
Ooh,
Because my beer is Collective Arts Stranger Than Fiction. It's a porter. It's a 5.5% alcohol by volume. I'm already going to say that I'm a little nervous because generally a porter that's that low in ABV tends to be a little thin, but I will wait to drink it first. But anyway, it's this collective art project they've been doing where if you find their beers, it's basically they commission art from different people and they put it on the cans. And I'll show you the art in a second. Um, But anyway, this collective art is a fusion of creativity featuring the talents of emerging artists through our global call for art. And then you could submit. And the art, I don't know, I don't want to butcher this person's name. Magge. Is that Maggie? Because now I'm
I'm,
afraid that, or it's
that,
Magge Gagliardi at Magzart, Mag's Art. So,
oh,
and
that's
they're
probably Nikki, I would guess. I
okay.
think
All right. If you see,
like,
there's no way they're going to see this. But if you see this and I pronounce your name wrong, I'm very sorry. But this is the can. And it's like a cool little creature that's like a
oh,
hillside. Yeah.
look
And
at him.
look at
I feel
them.
like guys on our cans would be friends.
I think they would too. Yeah, exactly. They're beastly, but they look like they're here for a good time. And he's just kind of trying to take care of this little hillside that he's basically that he is. You can see there's a little door here, like a little hobbit door, and then like the eyeballs are like little caves. Yeah, I was very excited about this. And just to keep with the creepy theme, I'm drinking out of a Green Bank observatory glass, which is hard to see since it's anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
can see it.
it's in West Virginia. So let's rip this open. Oh my God, I almost got sprayed by a beer for the second week in a row.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I got sprayed last week.
Yep, I saw it.
Yeah.
As did our growing audience. Oh,
Yeah,
that looks
it's a nice looking head. Nice looking head. It's what you strive for. Oh, and this has Cascade, Nugget, and Magnum hops in it, in case you were wondering. I knew you were wondering. And so I was like, Helen's gonna want to know what kind of hops are in this. That's what it is. Let's see what it tastes like.
I'm just like, don't make the Magnum joke. Don't make the
Ah, I
Magnum
didn't
joke.
even think of that. It is a little thin, but not bad thin. It's caramely, it's bitter. Um, it has the so it's funny. You were talking about drinking a black IPA, and whenever you were on your trip, and the thing that trips me up about black IPAs is it's just a mind fuck. When I drink an
Oh,
IPA,
yeah.
I expect it to be a certain color, and when it's dark, when I drink that dark beer, I don't expect it to be as hoppy, and so it's this weird thing. I'm already burping. This is kind of hoppier than I expected from a porter. It's a very hoppy porter. Um, so it's a little flowery, but also kind of rich with, like I said, like that caramel flavor, a little bit of coffee. Let me try one more. Yeah, it's very pleasant. It kind of goes down easy. I mean, there's the carbonation is good. It's nice and crisp. And like I said, it's a little thinner than I generally like, but it's not when I get like a stout that's thin, it's like it just kills it for me. But this isn't killing it. It is pretty good. Um, yeah, I really like the taste. The bitterness is like a nice, rich coffee bitterness. So it's not killing my tonsils or my taste buds. I really like it, and I feel like the little guy on the can would like it too. Um,
He looks like a good time kind of guy. I always think like
yeah,
I always think of porter as the beer that fantasy creatures drink.
yeah,
No, it's nice and substantial. Like kind of good for either sitting and relaxing by the fire or like, while you're on the road with your guys.
yeah. And I would say that this beer would actually be a little better for colder weather, which actually it's a little chilly here, so it kind of fits. But
Yeah, it's gonna snow tomorrow here. If you can like remind me where the fuck I live here.
for the Vikings, the football team.
Oh boy. Okay. So when we were flying back to the States, there's this British guy on our plane who's like head to toe Vikings regalia. It's like, I cannot imagine being a person in a foreign country who not only follows American football,
Yeah,
well, that part I get sure, but like following just a perpetual like failure team like the Vikings so much that you fly to their hometown decked out in their stuff.
and their stuff. Yeah,
What?
huh?
Jesus, like what's wrong over on that? There's some shit going on that island, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he lives here. Maybe he was coming back home. I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, he had a pretty strong British accent, so it was like coming home. He's been away for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck him. I'm just kidding. I'm sure he's nice, even though he was decked
I mean,
out and
have whatever wacky interests like they want. Lord knows I have plenty. It's just like it was just so funny to me that like of all the American teams to get invested in, like
yeah,
that invest it's the
Minnesota
Vikings.
Vikings. Who
I don't
knows?
know. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna. I mentioned last week that about being in Decibel. I have to cover this up because I don't want to show my address, but that's the issue. Frozen Soul is on the cover. Um, yeah, and then well, there I am.
Yeah,
So
there you are.
I am. So I don't know if anybody is seeing this from reading me in Decibel. Try to keep your insults to a minimum. I'm a sensitive man, and I cry pretty much at will. So calm down. Um, Helen, I am declaring victory
Yes. Yes.
because all of the targets in my area no longer carry the Ron DeSantis book. It's gone. I would like to take some credit, um, because the sales obviously weren't good at all the targets I visited. Um,
So actually, um, I uh I don't know if you're familiar with the podcast Know Your Enemy.
yes, you
Okay,
told me that, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So I was listening to one of the hosts talk about DeSantis's book, and he said like the most notable thing about it is like, like he's like, well, Trump's an asshole, obviously, but he at least like tries to be like kind of funny about it.
Yeah.
Like,
He
it's
has
it's
he has personality and charisma as much as I hate to give him credit
yeah,
for anything.
yeah, like the guy can like decently work a crowd, right?
Yeah,
But
no,
like,
that's what he's great at. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, like he said, the tone of DeSantis's book is like so not that. It's just like incredibly whiny and
yeah,
bitter.
yeah.
Like,
That's what he is.
like the guy clearly feels he's like owed something. He's owed power and fame,
An
and
ass kicking. That's what he's owed. Sorry, go ahead.
but yeah, he's like there's no self-deprecation. Like even when so in most of these memoirs, like you see this, I think most cringily in Barack Obama's is like when they talk about meeting their wives, like, oh, she's the most radiant like thing
Yeah,
I've ever seen. I'm just some like fucking asshole in a potato sack. And like DeSantis kind of does that, but he's like, also says some like smug shit like, I knew, like, you know, I was not gonna lose my chance to approach her tonight because that's not the kind of guy I am. Like he can't even like
right.
crack jokes himself in like the way that like most normal guys do. Like
Yeah, yeah. And apparently
uh,
he got married at Disney. Did you see
uh
that? I don't know if that's true. I just saw somebody report it and said that like he got married at Disney, but I haven't done a fact check on it, so maybe it's not true.
I don't know. I don't he doesn't um he strikes me as the kind of guy that does not trust joy.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
so
Yeah. I
I
don't
think,
think it's his idea.
yeah, I guarantee you, if he did, it was at his wife's insistence.
Yeah. Yeah. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I did not get the hype behind him as like the replacement for Trump because, like, I think obviously not a Trump person. Like, come on, do you even know me? But like, looking at him, it's like I
I'm
can
shocked.
understand.
I'm
Like, okay, if Trump's like the schoolyard bully, which I think is like kind of part of like I think that's his whole thing basically.
yeah.
Like like DeSantis is kind of like the schoolyard bully's like whiny little friend.
Yeah.
Um, the one who's like maybe not as tall or
I'm
like
thinking of Christmas Story right now.
hanging back, like just kind of piping in with some mean shit now and again. It's
Yep.
just like he wants to be the main bully, but he doesn't quite have the juice for it, which
Yep.
is like, you know, like just an additional bird in the turducken of sadness that is like it's presidential campaign.
Don't say another word. That's the last thing you're going to say on this video because you will not see anything better. This has been the beer video, a true turducken of happiness, as opposed to Ron DeSantis, a turducken of sadness. See you next week.